Good evening. I'm meteorologist Mark Strell with the very latest dust storm warning that has blown into town. And I've got good news. Improving conditions here in the city of Chicago. Just about 40 minutes ago when we joined you, you could see somewhat of a silhouette of Chicago. As you looked over towards the Sears Tower, kind of, sort of, it looked like there was a building there. But as you can see, conditions have improved very nicely here as we've gone from near obscured visibility down to just a few hundred feet in many cases to what is now well in excess of 2 to 3 mile visibility in much of Chicago. Now, there still is a dust storm warning in effect for parts of the area until 8:30 tonight, and there's other areas that aren't affected by the dust storm warning. There's now been a blowing dust advisory. And if you're not under the dust storm warning or the blowing dust advisory, there's still a wind advisory posted for the rest of the area. So one way or another, there's still some blowing dust, there's still some blowing winds that will continue to be a problem all the way past 9 o'clock and into the later evening hours. Now check out this video. Some pretty incredible video that we had earlier. This is as that wall of dust just enveloped the city of Chicago, just rolled right up, just almost in biblical proportions, just blotting out the sunlight and basically, again, reducing the visibility. This is in the city, so you can imagine areas that are surrounded by maybe cornfields or newly plowed fields across northern Illinois, northwest Indiana. The visibility was even tighter. Looking off to the south, this is a video coming in from Manhattan, and you can see that wall of dust just pushing in from the ag lands to our south. Basically what's been going on is these high winds have picked up the soil, loose soil, from newly planted fields or fields that have been just disked or plowed recently, and just taking the soil, which in many cases is bone dry, and just hurling it up into the atmosphere. And that's exactly what's coming through the city here. Now, yesterday, you may remember, obviously a lot of places saw rainfall, but there were many locations that did not. In those areas that did not see the rainfall, the soil, bone dry, was able to be picked up and carried aloft and blown right through the city. It's just a wall of dust. You can see in the foreground there, just deep blue skies, really some sunshine. A nice warm summer day until this wall of dust came blasting through the city. But conditions are generally improving now, and we're going to continue to see some improvement as we go through the next couple of hours. Again, this is a look off to the south and to the southwest this hour, and we have really a situation that it will be improving. Air quality will be improving as well. Look at the shed cam, and this is a live picture. Again, you can see the silhouette of the city. Not quite to blue skies quite yet in most locations, but you can pick out some holes in that dust veil, and you can pick out some clearing skies with a little bit of sunshine in some neighborhoods. So improving conditions as we go through the rest of the evening. Now again, a lot of dust, a lot of soil being picked up by winds that only an hour ago were gusting up to 60 miles per hour. Now this is nothing to sneeze at, so to speak. 48 mile per hour wind gusts, nearly 50 mile per hour wind gusts at this hour at Midway. 32 mile per hour wind gusts in Chicago Heights. Even O'Hare, 40 mile per hour wind gusts. Again, this is the area that, again, most of the region here, a lot of crops are in the ground, but they're wee little crops that may only be a couple of inches tall and not enough to really bind some of that soil, especially the dry soil that's being picked up by these high winds, and these high winds that are not quite as high as they were an hour, hour and a half ago, and they'll slowly begin to subside. We've had some visibility rankings here to about a quarter mile. Other locations outside of the reporting stations were down to about 500 feet. And you can see from the Hancock Center, again, looking off towards the south and to the southwest, the skies above are clear. But the lower part of the atmosphere is saturated with this dust, these irritants and these pollutants. And again, if you have breathing difficulties, you definitely want to be inside. A situation like this, it's pretty obvious, pretty apparent. You don't want to be out breathing all that dust and that grime and that gunk. Here's a brief setup of what's been going on. We really were concerned about these showers and thunderstorms here earlier in the day. It looked like they would sweep up to parts of the south and southwest suburbs. Instead, what's happened is they've blown over to southern and central Indiana. This is the powerful low pressure area that's helping to kind of scourge up some of those winds. There is a cool front that's out here, and as that cool front comes through, it will clear off skies. It'll actually bring us better air quality. So as we head towards the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the temperatures are going to be quite a bit cooler. Only 60s compared to the upper 80s we had today, compared to the 90s we had yesterday. 60s Saturday and Sunday. And most of next week is going to be cool as well, with temperatures in the 50s and 60s and a fair amount of rain. We've kicked up a couple of showers and thunderstorms, especially from Chicago northward here, just this late afternoon into the evening. Nothing really of a severe nature, but there were some brief heavy downpours. They've now pushed for the most part out over the lake, but you'll catch some flashes of lightning, maybe a little rumble of thunder. But this eventually pushing through, and we will see some improved conditions. Again, these are the showers and thunderstorms that we were keeping an eye on even before they formed earlier in the day. Futurecast, again, not showing much of any consequence, maybe a couple of sprinkles or showers as that front finally pushes through. As we go Saturday into Sunday, we're going to continue to see improving conditions, at least from an air quality standpoint. Here's the front. There's the front driving through. One last little batch of light rainfall, moderate rainfall behind the front. So post-frontal activity, as we like to call it. And then Saturday and Sunday, we'll start out with clouds on Saturday morning, end up with partly sunny skies during the afternoon, and then more sunshine on Sunday. But again, both days, you might need a light jacket with temperatures in the 60s, especially if you're heading along the lake, where we'll see temperatures even colder yet. 67 on Saturday, 65 degrees on Sunday. Look at this. Now comes the moisture. If we had had this moisture just a little bit earlier, we wouldn't be talking about dust storms. 35% chance of rainfall on Monday. Best chance of rainfall comes Monday night into Tuesday, into early Wednesday. Leftover showers on Wednesday. And again, look at these cool temperatures, temperatures in the 50s. So the status right now, dust storm warning continues for parts of the area until 8:30. If you're not under a dust storm warning, you're under a blowing dust advisory until 9 o'clock. And if you're not under either of those, you're under a wind advisory until midnight. So one way or the other, you're pretty much covered by dust and blowing dust. So keep that dust buster handy. I got a feeling you're going to need it. I know I will.